Divine callings, hypnosis. In our reading this week, we reflect on the diverse paths of God's callings and the challenges of embracing our unique roles in a world prone to comparison. Read 1 Chronicles 15 to 19. In 1 Chronicles, we witness the fulfillment of David's divine calling. A grand percussion unfolds as he brings the Ark of the Covenant to Jerusalem. Musicians play harps and lyres, and David dances with all his heart. The streets echo with celebration at this pivotal moment in Israel's history. Yet, in the shadows of this joyful display, David's wife, Michal, daughter of David's predecessonic Saul, looks on in contempt. Her ire harkens back to the jealousy that characterized her father's reign. Most of us experience the temptation to compare our own paths to the paths of others, seeing others thrive in their ministries, careers, or personal lives can make us feel as though our own achievements are not enough. Like Saul did with David, we often feel as though other people's success threatens our own. Social media amplifies these feelings, cultivating a culture of competition and comparison. We might make assumptions about others' lives based on what we see, even though we know the whole picture is more complex than what curated profiles depict. We might wonder if we are making any impact. How do we live into our callings among one another? God's callings often look vastly different for each of us. Recognizing the uniqueness of our callings can free us from our tendencies to compare and compete. We see this potential in David's story, chosen by God from humble beginnings to be king of Israel. David's leadership would become legendary, but a time comes when David's heart is set on building a temple for God, and God tells him that this task will not be his. It is reserved for his son, Solomon. David's calling is not all he had hoped. Sometimes our callings are not what we expected or dreamed of either, but every person's calling is crucial in the health of our communities, and no one's calling is more important than anyone else's. David's calling to lay the groundwork for Israel's stability allows Solomon to focus on building the temple. Each role is essential. Loving into God's call is not about personal glory or status, but about serving God and one another faithfully. Mindsets of comparison, jealousy, and personal ego distract us and prevent us from experiencing the opportunities God invites us into. In John 12, we're told that many of the religious leaders understand the truth about Jesus but choose not to follow him, for they loved human praise more than the praise of God. In Numbers 11, jealousy drives Joshua to try to impede the movement of God's Spirit among the people. John the Baptist prepares the way for Jesus, seeking not his own recognition or glory, but leading many to believe in Jesus. We find our callings by listening to God's voice stirring within us. We pay attention to the gifts God has given us. We look for creative ways to love God and others well and to sow seeds of peace and justice in our world. We know we are on good paths, not because they're the same as someone else's or because they're what other people expect of us, but because we sense divine life in our paths. Our contributions are measured out by their visibility, but by our faithfulness. We can serve joyfully, trusting in God's wisdom and timing. Let us participate uniquely in God's kingdom, work as our authentic selves. May we embrace our callings with joyful hearts, echoing David in his uninhibited songs of praise. I ask you to reflect. Have you ever sensed that God was calling you to something unexpected or different from your current path? What did that feel like? How has pursuing your own calling brought you closer to God? And how can we acknowledge and support the unique callings of others? What does it look like to collaborate effectively despite our differences? Now let's end with a short prayer. God who calls us, help us hear your divine appointments for our lives. May we be grateful for the unique paths you have for each of us, and may we encourage one another as we pursue the callings you have for us all. Amen.